Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. It all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lamson got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
Good afternoon, White Sox fans. This is Tony Marchese, and today we have a special guest on the show, Sean Roberts. Sean, we've been talking about doing this post-game show since probably the season started. Unfortunately, it was not a White Sox winner that we get to talk about this afternoon, but I am excited to have you on the show today. Sean, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's a beautiful day here in Des Moines, Iowa. Enjoying a great taste, less filling. But yeah, no, we've been talking about doing this for a while, and it's funny, the weekends that you've, asked, like, hey, are you good this week? And I was like, no, I can't. Or the weekends I'm like, hey, I'm available. You're like, no, we got everything covered. And I was like, oh, crap. So, no, but happy to be able to hop on with you and talk some White Sox baseball, even after a loss.
Hey, there's nothing better than enjoying a few beverages, talking about a White Sox game. I know today, like we said, did not go the way we wanted it to. But there's a lot to unpack from this one, and I think we're going to get into some other topics. We're going to try and keep this one short. It's Saturday afternoon. I know everybody's got places to be. I know you're hitting the golf course this afternoon too. Great day to play some Twilight golf, Sean. I'm jealous. I'm envious of your plans.
Yeah, 6 p.m. tee time. I haven't golfed in like the last 4 weeks, so I'm trying to cram in as much as I can this weekend because I have a free weekend. So I was at the range last night. I got tee time tonight, tee time tomorrow morning, and I'm obsessed.
I feel you there, man. I feel you. I haven't talked much golf on this show. I did get out with Johnny once this year so far. We were listening to a Sox game out on the golf course, and it was a good time. I think that everybody should pick up golf. That's just my thing. But we're here to talk some White Sox baseball. But before we do that, Sox on Tap, presented by On Tap Sportsnet and Grandstand. Man, I don't know if you saw the tweets. I normally do an ad read here. I don't know if you saw the tweets, but today, man, that place was absolutely packed.
I thought, was it My Sox Summer from the 108 that put it out there that the grandstand line was all the way into the alley or whatever?
Yes, and I think that has a little bit something to do with the uniforms the Sox were wearing today, Sean. Those City Connect jerseys came out today. They looked absolutely fantastic. Give me some thoughts on the City Connect jerseys, because we saw Boston. They were terrible. What do you think about the Sox?
Boston's was terrible. I kind of liked Miami, what the Marlins came out with, but I think right now the leader in the clubhouse is easily the White Sox. I mean, the jersey, it speaks White Sox. It speaks Southside. It speaks. I like the lettering. I like the all black. It's a really clean look, and I think I saw a tweet today during the game that this is going to be an alternate uniform now. It's not just going to be a one and done type deal. So I don't know. It's funny. I was watching, it's about the second or third inning today, and I was like, man, I picture it right now. Game 1, playoff game at the G spot, blackout game, and they go with the City Connects. Wouldn't that be sick?
It absolutely would.
They won't. They'll just wear, like the white jerseys because they want to be basic. But wouldn't that be sick, man?
It would, and it would set a tone too. I think
exactly.
It would definitely set a tone. I really enjoyed the all black. I'm a big fan of the all black jerseys when the Hawks wear them.
Yeah.
Just there's something about a team in all black, and goddamn, man, like I don't want to go up and down and comment, but every single one of those players looked absolutely badass in that uniform today.
Absolutely.
Even Tony La Russa. I mean, even Tony La Russa was rocking that thing.
Crooked hat, man. He knew what he was doing. TLR, man.
I'm a sucker for the cocked hat there. I mean, that was the Alex Colomé thing, trying to come up with a little slogan for Tony La Russa with the cocked hat. But we'll see what we get. We'll see what we get out of that.
Yeah.
Not a great display in those jerseys today, though. Let's get into this game. White Sox lose by a final of 4-3 to the Detroit Tigers. This one got off to a good start for the White Sox. Lucas Giolito kind of cruises through that first inning, and then you get Tim Anderson up, gets on base, and Nicky Madrigal drives him in for a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. Sean, you thought that this thing was just going to continue from what they were doing last night with that comeback victory. Good start for the White Sox, though.
Yeah, Lucas gets out there, no runs in the first. You're thinking, okay, here we go. They have the City Connects on. This screams 7-2 White Sox victory. Everyone goes happy on a Saturday, or, goes home happy on a Saturday. Tim Anderson, I love that man so much. He's my favorite player on the team. Gets on the board early with the double, and then Nicky Madrigal hits him in. And you think, yeah, we're off and running here. This is just a continuation of last night, and then it just went away. And unfortunately, Lucas, as I'm sure we'll break down here, was it 3 home runs was the total, 1 2-run bomb, and
yeah, Lucas Giolito just did not have his best stuff, and we can break into that right now. You know what? Final line on Lucas Giolito: 7 innings pitched, gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. He did strike out 9, give up 3 home runs. It was kind of just death via the long ball there for him, Sean, tonight. And, I really like the way he finished this game in the 7th inning. He cruised through that 7th. I was happy that Tony left him in for that. But if we want to talk about the body of work as a whole here from Lucas Giolito, he was just touched up in a lot of spots where you don't like to see him give up those long balls. And I think that kind of gets to Lucas's head just a little bit. And I think you and I have talked about that throughout the course of the season so far.
Yeah, there's something happening, I believe, because if you look at his reactions to things and I've never seen a really good pitcher have this much emotion all the time. Like a starting pitcher, I mean, like your closer, yeah, you're going to be emotional and you get a big strikeout here and there. But I mean, if he doesn't get a called strike, he, stabs at the ball and walks around the mound. And to point to that first home run, I believe it was a 1-2 count, and he left the changeup up. And he's been leaving a lot of pitches up this year, and that's the difference between a really good Lucas Giolito and the Lucas Giolito that's I think a 500 pitcher now. If you want to go off of record, he's leaving pitches up, and you can't leave changeups up, and you can't leave sliders up because those balls will get hit. They will get hit hard. And unfortunately, that's what Lucas ran into today.
Yeah, and Sean, I think that we've seen some different looks of Lucas Giolito. We've seen the Lucas Giolito when he's on. We know that he had the incident in Boston. We want to bring this back to some City Connect jerseys. That was probably the worst start that we've seen from him since 2018. There's just been a really up and down season so far from Lucas Giolito. Matt Berkland, I'll bring the comment back up. Why has Katz fixed everyone, then can't get Giolito? I don't know if it's that Katz can't fix Giolito. I don't think there's not a lot of fixing to do here, in my opinion.
And we've talked about that, Tony. We've talked about. You think Lucas is putting too much pressure on himself because of
yeah, and I think that there's definitely something to say. And I don't want to go out and make excuses for Lucas Giolito. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But I think that there is a difference in comfortability pitching to Zach Collins or Yasmani Grandal than he had with James McCann. And I think that he trusted McCann's pitch selection a little bit better than what he's got going on with the current guys. And that's not to say that Lucas Giolito can't throw to them. It's to say that Lucas Giolito is out there on the mound and maybe he feels a little bit less trust, and that's affecting where he's putting balls and leaving stuff up a little bit because, I don't know, I've pitched before. I know you've pitched before. If you don't have that good rapport, some things can get away from you, despite having the comfortability of, his high school pitching coach and the guy that quote unquote fixed him over that offseason before you saw him throw a really impressive, 2019, there's still something there where you're not getting that fully crisp version. And I really love what you were saying just a little bit ago and stuff that we've talked about, where Lucas Giolito, he gets a little moody on the mound.
Yeah, and it's a side of Lucas that we haven't really seen. It's something that I picked up on this year, and every time I feel like he starts, me and you text about it, like, oh, here comes Lucas. He's pacing around the mound, or he's doing this, he's doing that. And it's a side that we haven't seen. Like, you can't be a really good starting pitcher and be a mental head case at the same time. And I'm not saying that Lucas is a head case, but there's instances where he does it on the mound. And if you really follow it and if you really pay attention to it, you notice it. And it's just, and I don't know if it has anything to do with Katz being there or whatever the case is. I think too, also, Tony, I think he's trying to do a little too much. I think he knows he's the ace of this staff, and I think it's almost like he goes out there every time, and if he gives up a run, he goes, I'm the ace. I can't give up runs. I can't do this, do that. Just pitch your game. Pitch your game, locate your changeup, place your fastball, throw the high fastball, and you'll be fine. But I think sometimes he goes, I got to strike out everybody, or if I don't, they're going to hit. Like, you're doing too much. This is a different team. This isn't a 2019 White Sox team. This isn't even the 2020 White Sox team. This is a team that will get you runs more than likely, right? Like, you don't have to do everything yourself. Look at Dallas Keuchel. Dallas Keuchel goes out every game and is probably going to give up 2 to 3 runs, almost guaranteed, unless for whatever reason he doesn't get touched up. But what does he do? He keeps you in a ball game. That's what Lucas needs to do more on a consistent basis. And since that Boston start, I think really, really mentally got to him.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. I would definitely agree with what you're saying there. You want to see Lucas Giolito rely a little bit on the defense, because you're not gonna strike everybody out. I know the 7th inning that he came out and threw was absolutely impressive.
Looked great.
Yeah, looked awesome. And Lucas has the ability to overpower hitters. That's definitely there. I think that he does need to find some sort of mixture of both, where sometimes you're just on it. You're going to be able to blow that fastball by any hitter and have that confidence. But if it's just not working for you, you need to be able to rely on the defense and do some ground balls, get through innings, keep that pitch count low. I was really happy that we had the ability to go out for the 7th today because of where he was. And a lot of that stuff came off of home runs where he was getting touched up. So there wasn't really an inning for Lucas today where it was like, shit, like here's a 30-40 pitch inning. This is going to ruin this. We're going to have to go to the bullpen. You felt like you were in this game.
In the game, right.
Yeah, you felt like you were in this game, but I just feel like there's a lot of hard contact off him this year, and that's been a little bit troubling. Moving on a little bit, though, Sean, I want to talk about the White Sox offense here. They did get the run in the first, like we talked about. We get to the 6th inning. Sox are down by a score of 4-1. They come up and they put together a little bit of a rally here. And I think the thing that everybody's going to want to talk about is the decision to bunt Danny Mendick after you've already put up 2. You got runners on 1st and 2nd. Danny Mendick tries to bunt, nobody out in that situation. I don't know if it was Tony calling for the bunt. I'm assuming it was Tony calling for the bunt. I think that anybody who's listening to this show knows that I guess you can consider me somewhat of a TLR stan. I did not agree with the bunt going down the first base line. You've had some strong opinions on this. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm not, I texted you and I go, I really hate bunting there. But I'm also kind of 50-50 on that. If you are going to bunt, you don't bunt to a charging first baseman, right? You bunt that down the third baseline. The runners move up. They sacrifice. If you're going to give up an out, make it difficult and don't let it get the lead runner, right? And you can tell the way Danny bunted the ball, he was bunting towards first base the whole time. I mean, he stabbed at it, went directly to the first baseline, wasn't even trying to get it down the third baseline. Having said that, also to go to Jason Benetti's point that he brought up on the broadcast, why give up an out there? You are roping base hits and doubles off Derek Holland at the time. He had, what was his stat line? He's faced like 8 White Sox hitters and hasn't gotten an out yet. And it's something like along those lines this season. And we give him a freebie, and not only a freebie, but one at third base. So if you're going to give him the freebie, get the runners on 2nd and 3rd. I'm not against the bunt, but if you're going to do it, you got to get it down the third base line.
Well, so one of the things that I talked to you about this too. I'm okay with the bunt in that situation because you can get yourself second and third with one out and an opportunity for a sack fly to tie the game in that situation. However, you just can't put yourself in a position where you don't have a runner on third at the end of that, and that results in going down the first base line like we talked about. Gives that first baseman the opportunity for the force at third. You cannot do that. You cannot do that at all. Other than that, you have to look at the situation like you talked about. Derek Holland, that this is prime White Sox, hitting territory here. This is where they should be able to continue a rally. Didn't really like the bunt. However, before the pitch was thrown, I'll be honest, I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, I would like a bunt in this situation. Move the runners over, put yourself in scoring, 2 runners in scoring position. You can take the lead off of a single in your next at bat. So I see where Tony was going with it. Poor execution, but all around, this is just one of those plays where if it breaks the other way and you wind up with a runner on second and third and you wind up driving 2 in, I think everybody's celebrating the fact that we got the bunt over. Right. I think this is another one of those tough decisions that did not go the White Sox way. And, there it is. You got to live with that decision.
It's one of those things, Tony. If he gets the ball, say he gets the bunt down the third baseline, you get second and third, 1 out. And then Timmy comes up after him.
Yep.
Knocks in a base hit. No one's talking about this.
Nobody's talking about it.
Not a big deal. So, it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I see it from both ends. I get why we're bunting here, but then I also see, like I said, Jason Benetti's point, like, why giving out here?
Well, and that just, if we want to dig into that goes into some Moneyball theory of, don't waste an out there. Mm-hmm. And Danny Mendick should be able to drive the ball off of Derek Holland. And I think that's where a lot of people come back and will say this was a bad call from TLR. I can respect that one. There's a lot of things that I don't think are fair when people come after Tony for it. I think this one is on the line, and there's definitely some questioning about that. But regardless, the Sox do put themselves back in the ball game in this inning. And Sean, I was feeling at this point in time, and I don't know about you, I felt like the Sox could still pull this out. The Detroit bullpen, not great. You saw the White Sox get to them yesterday. Thoughts from you on where we are after that inning, despite the inability to be opportunistic, as our guy Johnny Nani would say, and tie the ball game or take the lead here.
Tony, I think every game this year, unless it's a complete blowout, I think the Sox are in it. I think the Sox, I'm opportunistic anytime watching this team this year. Like we were texting each other last night. Like I didn't even have emotion last night in the walk-off win. I just had a smile on my face because, like you said, the story's writing itself. Like it is happening right in front of us. This team is in any game. They have, even with all the injuries, put all the injuries in there, they're in any game. So after that inning, even after we don't get anything else after the couple runs, I was like, okay, well, we still got three innings or 3 at bats left. We'll get something. We'll scratch something across here. This team isn't going to go down without a fight. And I hated the term Ricky boys don't quit or whatever. I despise that because it always meant that we were losing. But this team doesn't quit. It has no quit in it. So I thought we were going to definitely come back and win this game.
Yeah, if there's one thing that Ricky Renteria, that mentality kind of stuck with this team, it's its ability to fight back in ball games, and that's something that I think is important. I do agree with you. I don't like having slogans based off of losing ball games. Yeah. I think that's a little lame and weak. When you
get it out, Ricky boys don't quit. We're losing.
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that shit either. We're not trying to build a lovable loser mentality on this side of Chicago, so to speak.
Lovable loser mentality. There's a lot of stuff happening in the stands that's lovable loser mentality. And
yeah, would you like to discuss some of that? We've got a few minutes here. Just before we get to it though. That's going to end the scoring for this ball game, and that kind of writes the end of the book there. The Sox unable to get through anything else or even scratch another run across the plate. Kind of disappointing. And the final score does wind up being 4-3. Detroit wins this one. But I think that this is important because it's something that I've talked about on Twitter. I've seen you talk about it. There's a lot of debate around this. Let's talk about what's going on in the stands at 35th and Shield. So I'm going to give you the floor here and just let you run with this for a minute, and then I'll say my piece.
Yeah, I've never, first of all, I've never been a fan of the wave. Trash. I hate it. I never want to partake in it. But Tony, I would much rather have the wave going on than a ball getting hit into the bleachers or, the right field seats and somebody's tossing it back onto the field. We don't do that on the South Side. That's not our thing. I've never liked it anyway, but that's not what we do. We are different. Like, that's the beauty of why there's a South Side and North Side and White Sox and Cubs fan base. We do different things, right? What are we always known for? Like, growing up, it was always, well, Cub fans, they just go there to drink beer. They don't pay attention to the game. They have nothing, they get a home run ball, they throw it back onto the field, whatever the case is. White Sox fans were like, we go there, yeah, we drink, we have fun, but we pay attention. We know exactly what's going on in the game, and we don't do dumb shit like that. And I don't know if it's because people were locked in a house for an entire year or whatever the case is, but we got cup snakes going on. We got balls being thrown back onto the field. I just see a lot of that type bullshit that we see at Wrigley happening at Guaranteed Rate Field, and I hate it so much. Like, cup snakes, whatever. Like, if that's I don't agree with it, but whatever.
You're conceding the cup snake here.
Exactly. Like, I'll concede the cup snake. Like, just stop throwing the ball back onto the field. Stop. Like,
well, I've seen that. I've seen a lot of things.
And you've been there. I haven't been.
I've been there. I've been there a few times this year so far. I think that there might be some COVID buildup here, but I also think it's the energy around the team. And this is a Chicago thing. And I don't want to be a fan gatekeeper. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I don't want to. I love when the ballpark is lively. I love the energy. I think that the Sox have missed that for so long.
Yeah.
I think that, it's finally time where people are interested in this team. It's great to have the national media attention around it. I think that those are all good things for the White Sox organization. It means that money's coming into the stadium. It means that the ballpark is going to have that atmosphere. But I also kind of look at this as the White Sox are relevant now. People want to be associated with being a White Sox fan. And there's going to be a lot of I hate to use this term, but there are bandwagon fans because people want to be around fun atmospheres. You saw this with the Blackhawks. Every single game was packed.
Blackhawks were kings at it.
For 10 years. And the White Sox have finally put themselves into a stage of relevancy where you are going to see people, specifically in the age range of 16 to 25, who are going to come out there that normally would probably, in my opinion, be going to Wrigley Field in the bleachers. And that's the type of crowd that you're going to get there, as well as, ticket prices, right? There's a lot of things that happen when a team is good, and you're starting to experience that because it's cool to be a White Sox fan now. You're seeing it. I'm sure you see it too. It's cool to be a White Sox fan now. Yep. So everybody wants to be there. You've got a lot of people who are ready to go out and party after COVID, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do. And they've seen it in Wrigley Field for years, to throw balls back, to build cup snakes, to do the wave, to do all of that type of stuff that, the Sox fan who's been there through the rebuild, the Sox fan who's been there when there's 5,000 in the stadium, and you can make all the jokes you want about unpacked crowds and nobody being at a White Sox game. That's fair territory. Just like it's fair territory for us to say everybody's been going to Wrigley and not paying attention to the ball game. You're going to start to get some of that shit at the White Sox game. And I think that, it just for me personally, and it sounds like you're in the same camp as me, some of that new blood that's in there that really hasn't understood what the traditions are, what the backstory is. They don't care. They don't know. They're just there to have fun. And it does shine somewhat in a bad light for that diehard fan who's been following this team, going to the game, supporting them for so long. And I think that that's where this is going to meet at crossroads. I think that's where you've seen some fights in the stands. You've seen a lot of energy from people who've been pent up for a while. But I think that there is a sense of White Sox fans trying to keep that sanctity of what it means to be a White Sox fan as well. Again, not trying to gatekeep, just trying to explain the behavior.
Just like, I think it's also a lot of, like you said, a lot of us that have grown up going to that park and grown up going through just god awful times and rebuilds and teams that were supposed to compete that were just absolute disappointments. And growing up as a kid going like, okay, they throw the ball back at Wrigley, like whatever, we're not going to do that shit over there. That's their thing. We got our things, and it is what it is. And now, so it's like seeing it happen. Now it's like, what the fuck are we doing? You know, but Tony, it is. I will say this, and again, because I've only been able to watch on TV, I'm not there, but it comes across on the broadcast. That place sounds like a effing party.
It does. It does.
Electric. I think what they've done with the lights on home runs and everything. I mean, it was always cool with the fireworks, but now they're adding that element into things. That place looks like a place you want to go watch a Friday or Saturday night baseball game. And the Sox, for the longest time, have never had that. Whether it's a team on the field or they've never really had that. You know, granted, again, team on the field is a lot of that, but it's a place that it sounds lively. I love the Detroit sucks chants. Always have, always will. God bless them. But you know, it sounds like I was very jealous I was not at the game last night, and I felt like that a lot. You know, being out here in Des Moines, I feel like that a lot on watching home games and seeing like you and Buzz and you know, White Sox Dave and Nani out there. And there's a jealousy factor definitely for me, you know. But you guys have it's a fun atmosphere right now. There's that diehard in me that's like, don't start doing this shit, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree, because when you're there, you're like, this is awesome. The place is lively. This is so cool. And then, you know, the wave breaks out. You're just like, come on now. This is normally reserved for like Cubs Sox games, you know, stuff that you would only see when the Cubs are playing the White Sox. And that's the type of atmosphere you get. That's the type of fan you're going to get that wants to come out there. I mean, you look at like I said, the Madhouse, when the Hawks were good. This team has the ability right now to pack the house. I've seen, you know, even with the limited capacity, you watch a Tuesday afternoon game right now, the stands are still packed almost more than what you would see on a 2019, 2018 game when there were no COVID restrictions. It's incredible.
You throw a 2017 Wednesday 1:00 start in April, and you're lucky if you got 4,000 there.
Right, exactly. And I mean, you can make all the jokes you want about it.
Yeah.
If you are not a Sox fan,
I deal with it on the radio all the time, Tony.
I was going to ask, because you're in Cubs land. You're basically in Cubs land. I'm sure you've heard this, but are you ready? Are you ready if this team is successful over this next 5-year period? Let's say we've got a 5-year stretch. Maybe they rattle off 1 to 2 World Series, multiple playoff appearances over that stretch. Are you ready as a White Sox fan? I think that this is something that we all need to ask ourselves. Are you ready as a White Sox fan to have that type of, like, there's a ton of bandwagon fans. As a Hawks fan, I saw there's no Hawks gear around unless, like, you know, you go to Jewel or you're just walking around the city. For 10 years, man, it was Hawks gears, Hawks jerseys. That's all gone. You see White Sox stuff now. Are you ready for it to be that type of atmosphere?
I'm absolutely ready for it. There's certain things, like I'm 100% ready for it. I'm so happy that the White Sox are relevant. I get very braggadocious on the radio out here about it. But just like some of the shit that I've seen, it's like, all right, hold on now.
So how do we educate people as Sox
know.
fans? How do we educate people?
I don't know, because like you said, you're going to get a bunch of 16 to 25-year-olds that go out there and they're looking for a fun Saturday afternoon. And, oh, man, if we do some cup snakes, that's going to get us to go viral and we'll be all over social media. And that's the whole point of everything. And it's like, that shit's, 10 miles down the road. Don't do that shit here, but who's to say, I don't even know if I were to get wrapped up in an atmosphere, you get 40,000 people packed in, Sox are, up by a run, place is lively. It's a Friday night. I've had 10 Miller Lights and here we go, who knows? But there's just some things I think it's more the home run thing that's really got me.
Yes.
Like the home run that was hit today that got thrown back on the field. And then Benetti comes on the broadcast and says, for future reference, if you throw a home run back on the field, you're gone. So if you want to see all 27 outs, don't do that. But yeah, that's the stuff that I don't want to see. Like, don't pick up traditions that are meant for that the Cubs have started. Like, what are we doing here? But again, I don't know how we stop it. I don't know how we police it. All we can do is bitch about it, right?
Exactly. All right, let's move past some of that. We've got a ball game tomorrow to talk about. The White Sox will again play Detroit. We're gonna have Dylan Cease on the mound against Jose Urena. Cease coming in 3-2 with a 3.79 ERA. He struck out 68 on the year. Urena 2-4, 14, 35 strikeouts. This should be a guy that the White Sox should be able to get to, Sean. You've had a few guys who've hit him fairly well. Jake Lamb, one of them, betting 400 against him in 5 at-bats as well. Louis Garcia's seen him a little bit. Tim Anderson only had 2 at-bats against him, does have a hit. But they've seen this guy. They should be able to get to him. On the flip side, Detroit is fairly familiar with Dylan Cease as well, but he's fared all right against them. What are your thoughts on tomorrow's ball game, Sean?
I'm interested to see how Dylan bounces back. I mean, that's my main thing because he didn't look that great last start. What did he go 3 1/3 or something like that? It was
the worst start of the year for Dylan Cease.
So, I mean, this is the stuff that I look for. Like, how does he bounce back from that? What's his emotions like? He's done a really good job after kind of about the first month to, his whole knock was, dude, he's going 3-2 on every hitter. He's got 70 pitches after, in the middle of the 3rd inning. He's not lasting very long. He's done a good job of getting away from that. Last game looked like old Dylan. So I want to see how he bounces back here. I'm not worried about the White Sox offense. Lurie Garcia probably will get the start in center field because we don't know what's going on with Billy Hamilton now. Just add another possible injury. I mean, I don't know how serious it is. You get taken out of a game, I think it could be somewhat at least a 10 days minimum, right? So we'll see what happens with that. I think the Sox win this series and they just keep rolling on. And at this point, Tony, I mean, yeah, losses like today suck. Win the series, and that's all that matters. Keep racking up division wins as much as you can. Keep racking up wins in general. Cleveland's not going away anytime soon, but if you can just keep putting the pressure on them to win, that team's going to fold, I would believe, here in the next 2 months. At least I think. I don't know. I will never cancel. I said today on my radio show, I'm never going to cancel out the Twins until it says that they've been eliminated or they start selling off pieces. Royals are playing good baseball now, so just win a series. Go out there, play good baseball. Like me and you text all the time. Just play good baseball, right? Like just play competitive, good baseball. Like, stuff today really wasn't anything out of the ordinary outside of, do we bunt there? Do we not bunt there? Lucas is going to give a few home runs. That's baseball. It is what it is. The mental errors that we were seeing at the beginning of the season look like they've kind of gone away, except for whatever Yohan Moncada did stealing second base today. I don't know what the hell that was. I call it Moncada inconsistencies. But because one day he'll look like the greatest player that's ever played the game of baseball, and then he goes out and looks like he doesn't give a shit. So don't know what it is, but no, I think tomorrow the Sox go out and win. I'm not too worried. I am interested to see how Dylan Cease bounces back, though.
I am as well, Sean. And I think that one thing that our guy, NWI Steve, no longer on Twitter, I'm sure you know him. He was texting with the Sox on Tap group the other day, and during Dylan Cease's last start, he said, hot take, I don't think that Dylan Cease is fully ready yet. And my response to that is, if Dylan Cease is not fully ready, if this is not the final form of Dylan Cease, that's a good thing. Yeah. You want to see him develop. I think we've seen a lot of development out of Cease this year, comparative to all the versions of Dylan Cease that we've seen in the past. He's getting through those first few innings. He's getting through that first time through the order. He's getting guys out. He's gone deep into some ball games. He's been able to keep his pitch count down. He's looked fairly impressive. And he is just a monster when he is on. And I think that everybody knows that he's got all the talent in the world and he can continue to pitch at the level that he has so far this year. But the bounce back stuff, you want guys to face adversity. It goes back to something that Johnny Nani said on last night's show. He wanted to see Garrett Crochet come out to start the ninth because you want to give these guys exposure to high leverage situations. Facing adversity is a good thing, especially for young ball players. And here it is. This is the real first adversity he's really faced this year, I think, in terms of here was a crap start. How do you come back from that and show that you're on? Or do you fold under pressure and only go 3 innings in the next game and have to turn it over to the bullpen? This is going to be a good test for him. It's against the Detroit Tigers. He should be able to mow down this lineup, go 6-7 innings strong.
Yep.
And you know, the offense has the ability. It's going to be another hot day at the ballpark. I want to see Jose Abreu. And if we're going to get into picks to click, I might have to ride with Jose Abreu. I'm going to ask for yours in a second. But there's a guy that I want to see turn it around because the cell is a launch pad right now. And Jose Abreu should be able to hit the ball out of the ballpark. I want to see him hit one. Let the offense do a little work behind Dylan Cease tomorrow, and I think we're talking about another series win, and that's so important, again, like you said, against the division.
Yep, win the series, and you're not going to sweep everybody, right? Like, it's not going to happen, but go out, win the series. As long as Dylan – my pick is going to be Dylan Cease. It's going to be Dylan Cease because if we need him to start getting through 5 and 6 consistently.
Yes, we do.
Has to because he's at the back end of the rotation. Bullpen, you never know how much they're being used throughout all these starts. He needs to at least get through 5 or 6. Give us some quality starts. Give back-to-back quality starts. Like, that's what we need. You know, and that's what we're looking for now. As like, it's no longer like Happy Cease Day, like he's a rookie and all. Like, no,
right?
Homie's he's part of the rotation. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. Like, go out, be your number 4, be your number 5, be dominant. He has number 1 and 2 stuff if he hones it in. Go out, give us a bounce back start. This goes into all that mental stuff, like we talked about Lucas and some of the mental things that he's going through, and it's very noticeable whether people want to admit it or not. Watch a game when Lucas Giolito pitches now, and watch his emotions on the mound. Dylan doesn't show emotion ever, unless he gets a big strikeout maybe. But this goes into mental stuff. I want to see how he bounces back. Give us 6 innings tomorrow, quality start. Dylan Cease gives us a quality start tomorrow. White Sox win the series.
You know what? I want to disagree with you for just one moment there. I have seen Dylan Cease show a little bit of emotion as well, and not exactly the same way that Lucas Giolito does. It seems to be almost like a comfort thing. It's really weird. But do you remember the other weekend when it got a little cold in Chicago?
Yeah.
He did not look comfortable on the mound. And I thought that played a little bit to his advantage, the cold weather, which is weird because you're talking about another guy who's used to warm weather. You're talking about a guy that wants to be out there. It almost felt, and this is just a weird baseball thing, and you and I have been on weird baseball things. I almost like Dylan Cease uncomfortable a little bit on the mound rather than like in a nice 75-degree day. Get him out there in cold, make him want to get back to the dugout, put that sweatshirt on. and he cruised through that game. Then he comes out in his last appearance, nice, warm, sunny Chicago day, and just did not look great. So just weird things that I noticed. I know you're a big fan of that stuff too. So I wanted to bring that up with you.
Yeah, me and you pick up on weird things. I think we look at weird things throughout a ball game, but we pick up on it because one, we love the team and we analyze it, you know, and we play the game. When you play the game, you pick up on little things, and whether you're an opposing team or not, like I revert back to Lucas all the time because it's so noticeable. And if I'm on the other dugout and he starts doing that shit, it's like we're in his head. We got him. You know, and I know Lucas does a lot of mental stuff. Like, he does a lot of mental practice stuff, which is why I'm so like, where is this all coming from? Why is he stabbing at the ball every time he doesn't get a call? Or he just looks like he's pissed off all the time, you know? So I don't know. But yeah, no, I like that. Keep Dylan uncomfortable.
That's just something that, you know, the wife and I noticed during the last time we were watching this game. So I had to bring it up for this. Sean, before we close this one down, we've got our picks to click. I went with Jose Abreu. You're going with Dylan Cease. You're the only other person on this show besides Buzz this year to take a picture as the pick to click. And, you never know. You might see Dylan Cease get out there and then, take the bat into his hands, because we've seen him do that before and do it with some success. But before we go, Sean, for those who do not know where to find you, why don't you tell everybody where they can?
So I work for 1460 and 106.3 KXNO, Des Moines Sports Station. I do a morning show Monday through Friday called The Morning Rush. And then I also host a Saturday morning show from 8 to 10. You can find it on iHeartRadio if you have the app. And then I also host a podcast called The Chantarage Show with me and my buddies. It's kind of us just talking about our lives. It's normal 30, like what's going on in a 30, 31-year-old's life. But we have a lot of fun and we've made a business out of it. So I would say it's successful. But take a listen. That you can listen to those podcasts anywhere you can listen to a podcast, whether it's Apple, Spotify, all that fun stuff. But yeah, you can find me also on Twitter at Sean23Roberts. I try and say a lot of sarcastic things. I don't take myself too serious on there.
You're a good Twitter follow, Sean. That's don't sell yourself short.
I appreciate that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, thank everybody for tuning in, and we will be back tomorrow with another Sox on Tap post-game show presented by On Tap Sportsnet and Grandstand. If you're heading over to Grandstand, I don't know if they've got any of those City Connect jerseys left, but that's probably the best place that you can go to find one of them. Those things look sweet. Hopefully the next time they wear those, we're talking about a White Sox winner on this show. Sean, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, buddy.
It was a pleasure talking White Sox baseball with you. I hope to get you back on this show. Maybe we'll go a little bit longer, talk about some other stuff in regards to White Sox baseball and just everything else that's going on. Hit them straight, hit the fairways today, Sean. I know you're excited to go get on that golf course.
Little warm-up round before tomorrow morning.
There you go. Have a good one, Sean. As we like to close this show down always, White Sox forever.
That's right. White Sox forever. Cheers.